In this video, I'm going to share my insights on FPS PC aiming. Some of the concepts are applicable to all FPS games, but many are Overwatch specific as that is my main game at the moment. I realize I'm just some random dude on the internet, but I've been playing FPS for around 10 years. I reached the highest competitive level in both Overwatch and CSGO, learning a lot of things about aiming and hope that I can share something useful from my experiences. Before I start, I want to give credit to some FPS aim tutorial videos already out there that have a lot of great concepts that I applied to my own gameplay. Share4's What to Think About When Aiming and How to Improve Your Aim with Movement, as well as Ron Rambo Kim's whole YouTube channel dedicated to FPS coaching. Links to the videos and channels will be in the description. Now I'm going to break this video up into 4 parts that focus on some main concepts that I think are important to improving your aim and staying consistent with your aim. The first of these concepts being outside factors like how you're seated, how you're holding your mouse, how far away your monitor is. Things like that all affect how comfortable you are and the feel you have with your aim. Next concept being aim styles, such as arm aim or wrist aim, the difference between the two, the pros and cons of both, and when you should use them. Then visual focus, what to look at, how to look at your target and your crosshair at the same time. Finally, how to effectively practice these skills and build the muscle memory required for good aim. Aim is a very feel-based skill, so any position can work when playing. You just have to make sure you play in a comfortable and repeatable position. By repeatable, I mean that you consciously recognize how you are sitting, holding your mouse, and where your keyboard and monitor are relative to your position, so that every time you get on and play, you can be in that same spot. This promotes consistency as well as helps you develop your muscle memory as you're used to the same feel every time. Now, to find your feel, you should get warmed up, play a couple of games, and whenever you have a crazy good game or you feel like you did really well, consciously take note of how you are positioned. Don't be afraid to try holding your mouse differently or seating yourself in a different position until you find a comfortable spot. This will help you identify your sweet spot naturally and allow you to recreate it every time you play. Personally, I focus on a straight back posture with my lower and upper arm perpendicular to one another and my seat high enough so that my lower arm is parallel with my desk. This makes me feel more in control of my aiming arm, but don't feel the need to imitate my same position. I also keep my monitor about 20 inches away from my face so I can maximize the use of my peripherals and avoid too much eye strain. I keep a firm grip on my mouse, focusing on the side pressures applied by my thumb and pinky, and leave my other fingers in a claw grip style, as it gives me extra control over micro adjustments when I'm aiming. Overall, this part of the video is just focused on a general overview of the importance of your seating position and how you're holding your mouse and etc., and less on the specifics of how you're going to find the comfortable spots, where you think will be best for you to sit, as it's all personal and up to you. Now, when it comes to aim styles, there are 2 major ones, arm and wrist aim. Both have their pros, both have their cons, and you should learn to use both when necessary. Arm aim is arguably better for flick shots, as it's easier to keep your mouse sensor moving in a straight line. And flicks are from point A to point B as fast as possible, which is a straight line. Now, arm aim is accomplished by locking your wrist and only moving your arm from the elbow down. This effectively stops the rotation of the mouse sensor as your mouse moves across your mouse pad, making it easier to move the mouse in only straight lines. Then there's wrist aiming, where you almost don't use your arm unless you're trying to get your crosshair to the general direction of the enemy first. It's good for the minute changes required when track aiming, so when you're trying to follow a moving target with your crosshair the whole time. Now, using both is just me referring to flicking to get to the general area of your target, and then tracking them with your wrist depending on the character you're using or the game you're playing. Now, visual focus is beautifully covered by Ron Rambo Kim, but I'll give a brief rundown of what to be looking at. Now, a great analogy is relating it to when you're driving. The majority of your focus is on the road in front of you, but you're also using your peripherals and quick checks to soak up the information around you. To relate that back to aiming, your crosshair is like the road. That's where the majority of your focus should be, but you're still using peripherals and quick checks to get information from minimaps and scoreboards. This analogy is not my own. I got it from one of Ron Rambo Kim's videos. I suggest you check it out. Practice should not be too intense. You're not trying to wear yourself out or practice for hours at a time. You're merely trying to ingrain the movements into your memory so that when you're playing, you do not have to cognitively think about aim and you can rather focus your attention on the game. Typically, I'll warm up for about 30 minutes before I hop into any competitive game mode. This allows me to get sufficient practice without wearing myself out, like I said earlier. Starting basic and progressing forward into more advanced training is usually how I do it. I'll start by not moving my character, practicing flicks, practicing tracking while not moving. After that, I'll move into practicing the same techniques, but while my character is moving, as in-game that is most likely the situation you'll find yourself in. It's not often that you'll be standing still. That's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it helped.